Hey everybody, we are live with the Sitshow starring Krisko under all new branding. Jeff, how are you today? Welcome to opening week.
I want to say I'm feeling great, but I'm holding back a cough. Now
Oh
I'm feeling
no,
great.
better hit that button.
Yep, hit that mute. I hope it worked. We were testing out the mute button right off the bat.
Oh, and
Feeling good. Feeling nervous. This is always my scariest starter sit show of the year because we have no data to work with. It's all heart, baby. It's all heart and gut.
and let me see if I can actually have you appear on camera.
Oh, that would be nice.
That would be nice. Oh, look, and you're tiny. Cool. How
We
about...
are. This is our first time on YouTube doing this, so bear with us, folks.
All right, that should be like normal now. Welcome, and thank you for those of you in the chat, Captain Crunchkin. And Yurag, is I say that right? Please correct my pronunciation of your name. It's important that I pronounce diverse names correctly. Uh,
It's AK Magic is how you spell it.
so my sons had their first fantasy football auction last week, and one of my sons drafted both Travis Kelsey and Mark Andrews. So
Mm.
that was a fun morning trying to figure out how. Oh my God, why are you off camera now? That was a fun morning trying to figure out how to get in there, and because I just made up, email addresses for them. Then I forgot
Oh
them
yeah.
completely. So yeah, so good. How? And then I had my big money league draft yesterday, and at some point in time during it, I passed out on a park bench briefly. So
Is that bad?
I was doing childcare, so yes, very, very criminally bad.
Oh
But
boy.
I woke up, and it had been like 5 seconds, and I was like, okay, bid everything I have on Jarek McKinnon, and I'm gonna just hang up and watch the kids now. Like, so straightened it out.
Where does that fit in the barbecue strategy?
Yeah, it fits in the toolbox bench strategy.
Oh, okay. Pass out on a park bench. That's part of your toolbox bench.
Yeah, toolbox park bench. All right.
Uh,
So,
so,
AK Magic. Oh, what are you saying? Sorry.
I was gonna say we've got inactives trickling in, so why don't we were thinking the same spot. We got a few questions in the chat to start off with. Ooh, okay. Mark Andrews is officially inactive.
All right. And check the description where I'll be updating the actives and inactives as they trickle in right now. The teams are supposed to report them 90 minutes before game time, which is right now, and then it has to go through the chain of telephone to the media, and then we get it.
Yeah,
So,
we're on the bottom of the chain. We're the end of the human centipede.
Captain Crunch, I'm sorry. I have so many shares of Andrews, and yeah.
Well, Mark Andrews is like because your son is diabetic, and so is Mark
Right.
Andrews. So it's his hero.
Yes.
Uh,
Also, Lamar Jackson just when the pocket breaks down, he can't run it. He's just like, screw it. I'm gonna throw it to triple covered Mark Andrews because that works.
that does
So
work.
I like
You
him
know
a lot.
what may or may not work, and I think we'll just get into this off the top, off the rip, because we have this question from AK Magic from the Discord. Rank likely Kincaid and Ferguson in full PPR, and I think this is a good starting point because as Tony, who does TH Fantasy and Gambletown and Degenerates Gambit for us, as he pointed out, get ready for 2 hours to 90 minutes of questions about Isaiah Likely. So I'm gonna off the top say my official take on Isaiah Likely. He is firmly inside the blob. So if you don't know what that is, the blob is basically every tight end after, say, every year it changes, but it's usually after Dallas Goddard, give or take. That's all very much the same. It's usually somewhere between Dallas Goddard all the way down to like pick your Colts tight end that's of the year, which there isn't one this year, but he's very much in the top end of that blob. He played 3 games without Mark Andrews last year. One where Mark Andrews left after 10 snaps. He had 77 and 1, 24 and 1, and 103 and 0. He did that on 7, 5, and 13 targets. But here's the thing. The wide receiver room there was Demarcus Robinson and James Prochet for all 3 of those games. And then the third wide receiver in those games were Devon Duvernay, Deshaun Jackson, and Sammy Watkins, respectively. So Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham, little bit of an upgrade to that. So I do expect him to get a ton of targets because as we saw on Thursday Night Football, when a team leans on their tight end, like the Chiefs and the Ravens do, when you get that new tight end in there, you do kind of work them in there because that's how your offense is built. You can't build an offense from scratch. So you're probably looking around 6 or 7 targets from Likely this week, probably around 4 to 5 catches, and I would say probably 40 to 50 yards. He's firmly inside that blob. He's probably going to end up somewhere around Noah Gray's production from a yardage perspective, probably a little bit higher, to be honest with you. And he has a good chance at a touchdown.
So if
That
you
have
had to pick in PPR, likely Kincaid or Ferguson, you're probably getting around to this. But
Yes, I'm getting around to this in that likely is not part of that Kincaid or Ferguson group, is what I'm saying. As I
he,
drop my pen,
he's
he's
a
not part of that group. He's much higher. When you're talking when you're talking likely this week, you're talking guys like Juwan Johnson or Gerald Everett or Dalton Schultz. You're talking those guys, not down here in this Kincaid, Ferguson, Luke Musgrave group of tight ends. He's much higher for me.
I'm scared of starting a rookie tight end week one. Like
He's not a rookie tight end.
Kincaid, I mean.
The other guys are. That's
Yeah.
yes, that's what I'm saying. He's not. That gives him a huge leg up over both Kincaid and Ferguson.
Also, having watched
Oh
all
no,
of Baltimore's,
Ferguson's not a rookie. Sorry.
whatever. After watching all of Baltimore's tape last year, likely's got skills. He's pretty good. Like
Yeah, I
as a
forget which.
player.
There was some random bum Coastal Carolina receiver that I was watching, and for college tape, and I kept going like, who is that guy? Who is that guy? Who is that other wide receiver? Like, that's just a big wide receiver, and I was like, oh, that's their tight end, and that was Isaiah Likely. So I have a lot of Isaiah Likely because I kind of fell in love with him watching college tape last year.
Nice. Uh, so Ken wants to know Kirk versus Indy, Pittman versus Jags, or Akers versus Seahawks in half PPR. Ken, you rock for giving us as much information as possible. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's perfect. So, um, I would say that this is a tough one. Like I was saying before we started that like this is the week that makes me the most nervous because we have the least amount of information. That's kind of the hard part. So, you break it down, you have Cam Akers who's going to he's looking at a ton of touches. He's, no Mark Andrews. I'm sorry, not Mark Andrews. No Cooper Cup. Um and it's like, ooh, are we going to talk about Van Jefferson or whoever? It's probably going to be a ton of Cam Akers. So then you've got Christian Kirk, who we don't know what he's going to be with Calvin Ridley in tow. I personally believe that Christian Kirk is going to do better than Calvin Ridley, at least to start off the year, just because Calvin Ridley missed a year and a half. And then Michael Pittman, again, we don't know what this offense is going to look like. No Jonathan Taylor, what Anthony Richardson's going to do. He's likely going to target Pittman probably 7, 8, 9 times, but just to play it safe week one, I would say probably, I hate to say this, and this is probably the last time I'm going to do it, but I would probably go Cam Akers in that just because the half PPR makes it a little bit more palatable to just lean on that volume because he's only missing out on 5 rushing yards per catch for the other guys. Whereas if it was full PPR, I'd probably go Michael Pittman. It is very close between the three, though. They are all good flex starts.
Thank you. And you love to see it. Yet another tight end blob question. Uh,
Say
Hurst, Gesicki, Hunter Henry, Dawson Knox.
that again.
Hurst, Gesicki, Hunter Henry, Dawson Knox.
Persicki, oh man.
I don't.
I want to say Mike Gesicki. None of these are good options. Let's be clear here because with Hurst, it's probably going to be Hurst. Let's be clear here. It's probably going to be Hurst. He's probably going to be Bryce Young's release valve in this game because DJ Chark is out. Adam Thielen is compromised. It's probably going to be Hayden Hurst getting release valve dump off targets. I don't know what the split's going to look like between Henry and Gesicki at this point, and same thing with Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. I would go with Hurst just because he is the tight end that is playing the role all by himself. The other guys, I could pick the wrong one of the two, and then you'll be looking at a goose egg. They all have the same upside, 6 for 60 and a touchdown. They all have that same sort of upside. So I would personally go with Hurst in this one with no Chark, a compromised Adam Thielen. We weren't sure if he was going to play. Hurst is just like a professional tight end. Like he's firmly in the blob of tight ends. Last year with Cincy, he had a 62% catch rate. Only 4 for 32, which is a little south of what we look for streaming tight ends, but that was a different offense. That was a different team. I think in this one, he's probably looking at a bit more than what he had last year from his 5 targets per game. I think probably 6 or 7. I think that's enough to get him up in that back end tight end one discussion. But I do have to say we are all struggling for tight ends this week. So if you feel a little bit like you're drowning, that's okay. Everybody is.
My son drafted both Mark Andrews and Travis Kelsey. So
My sister accidentally drafted both Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen, so yay for trying to help amateurs draft.
yeah, my 79-year-old mother was in her first draft too, but she was cooking. She's like came like I don't know. She when she throws herself into a game with rule sets, she throws herself in. So that was easier than I expected. Let's
Yeah.
see.
So, oh man, AK Magic wants us to read Pride and Prejudice. Okay, so AK Magic. Oh, I'm gonna read the question, and you're gonna answer. No, I forgot my role. I hosted 3 episodes this week, so I forgot that I'm not the host for this one.
It's called the Sitshow with Krisko, for goodness sakes. It's right there. Uh,
That's me.
my RB room is Saquon, Madison, Demont, and handcuffs like Warren, Elijah Mitchell, Algier. Should I trade my Dak/slash Demont for Josh Allen? Josh Allen's RB2 is either Swift or Deion Jackson.
I
Is
mean,
Demont worth an upgrade from Dak to Josh Allen?
absolutely. I think David Montgomery he's a solid running back, but he's not going to be a guy that has top 12, 15 upside. If something happens to either Brian Robinson or Christian McCaffrey or Najee Harris, all 3 of those backs do have top 15 upside. You're trading maybe 2 points from David Montgomery's between him and Madison to get the Josh Allen of it all. I also don't really. I One of my things that I really want to see tonight is how Brian Schottenheimer and the Cowboys do, because I am a Brian Schottenheimer skeptic. I think he's a bum OC. I think he's very bad at his job, and I'm worried what the step down from Kellen Moore to Brian Schottenheimer is going to do for this offense.
Also,
So
so now is the time to trade Demont. He's only gonna get fewer and
yeah,
fewer carries as the rookie breaks out.
yeah, as Jameer Gibbs. So the Jameer Gibbs thing was interesting. It's, I expected it to be a 60-40 split. It ended up being 71-29 in terms of snaps. And that's just because you're not going to take your first round rookie and run him into the Kansas City Chiefs wall if he's not built that way. And he's not built that way. So that was why David Montgomery had so many touches. That's why he had 21 carries, because they were like, oh my God. Evan, can we cuss on this?
Yeah,
They
we
were
don't
like,
have
holy shit.
we don't have a
Holy
contract.
They're like, holy shit, we might actually beat the Chiefs. So they ran the ball with David Montgomery as much as possible to keep the Chiefs off the field. That's what is the touch split there. So yes, I would trade Dak and Demont for Josh Allen. Absolutely, 10 out of 10.
Fabulous. And I've just been refreshing. Do you use the ESPN actives page for actives and actives? What's your preferred?
I use RotoWire because RotoWire doesn't have all that extra fuss and BS in it. So it looks like we got a good chunk of actives and inactives. I'm gonna go through them really quick, see if there's anything fantasy relevant.
And I'm
Nothing
sticking
really.
these in the description if you want to refer
Okay.
to them.
Okay, so Arizona Cardinals, unless you're in a 5 tight end league, Isaiah Higgins or Elijah Higgins being inactive doesn't matter to you. For the Falcons, Jeff Okudah, Cordarrelle Patterson, both inactive. Not so much for guys who are starting with Cordarrelle Patterson, but more in so much as there's going to be. We talked about it in the Friday podcast that I'm not sure how much there's going to be to go around in this offense that isn't Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier running the ball. So Cordarrelle Patterson being out means good things for Drake London, for Kyle Pitts, and even Bijan himself. Mark Baltimore Ravens, we talked about Mark Andrews being out. Also Marlon Humphrey, he was expected to be out, but he is officially out. Panthers, DJ Chark is out. Brian Burns is not listed on this. So Brian Burns was a hold in. He's an edge rusher for them. He's one of the best in the league. And it looks like he's going to play in this one. For the Bengals, they'll probably have a limited snap share. For the Bengals, Chase Brown is out. For the Browns, nobody who matters is out. For Houston, John Metchie is officially inactive, as is Daria Ogunbowale. Jimmy Ward, their safety, also out. Very good safety / nickel corner, Jimmy Ward. So that defense will probably struggle a bit today. For the Colts, Zach Moss officially inactive, so that means wheels up on people who need to start Deion Jackson. That was the main concern, was if Zach Moss was going to play. But he is a desperation play, Deion Jackson is. For the Jags, JaMychal Hasty inactive, nobody else who matters. For the Vikings, nobody who matters is inactive other than Marcus Davenport. For the Saints, Kendre Miller is officially inactive. That means Jamal Williams. Get Jamal Williams into your lineups. And if you want to feel spicy, Taysom Hill is probably going to score a touchdown because they're going to do stupid things without Alvin Kamara and without
Kendre Miller.
Kendre Miller. Also, this means a lot more passing, so I do feel better about Chris Olave. I would probably move Michael Thomas into your flex. Steelers, nobody who matters. Niners, nobody who matters. Except a TDP, Tyrion Davis-Price is inactive. Just would like to point out that my Niners wasted a 3rd-round pick. For the Buccaneers, Keyshawn Vaughn is inactive. For the Titans, Will Levis is inactive. For the Commanders, Chris Paul. Don't you play basketball? No. For the Commanders, Chase Young is the only one who matters who is inactive. So that's where we're sitting right now. I believe that is all of the morning games. I'm pulling these off of rotowire.com. So if I get more inactives, I'll let you know. But I think that's most of everybody. So let's get back to it, Evan.
Well, you already answered the current question, which is Deion Jackson or pick up Hull, and that's Deion Jackson. Would you do Deion Jackson over Rashad Penny?
To start today?
Yeah. Or just who's going to score more?
I accidentally closed my matchups page, so I'm just going to stall a little bit while I reopen that. Rashad Penny is playing. Oh, he's playing against the Patriots. So it's Penny or who?
Deion Jackson.
I would probably go Deion Jackson. Walker and I were talking on the podcast Friday that the ideal Bill Belichick season is that they every game ends 14-13 on a field goal, and they go 10-7 with a +1 point differential. So they're going to slow that game down. There's not going to be as much opportunity for Penny, I don't think.
Cool. Captain Crunchy replied, not seeing that I replied, so that's
cool.
Missed
the Hull versus Jackson take from Jeff. I didn't give one. Evan Hull, I don't know if he is particularly that much better than Deion Jackson. Everything was pointing to Deion Jackson toting the load in this one. He's going to get a full complement of snaps. He's going to get a full complement of touches, but he's still only looking at like 15 touches, and Evan Hull's probably looking at like 12. He's not that far behind Deion Jackson for me. Teams love, we saw this on Thursday Night Football. Teams love that guy that they know, that professional player that can come in, take up snaps, eat running into the line. And for the Colts in this one, that's going to be Deion Jackson. He's probably going to get the goal line carry. If you start Hull over Jackson, you're banking on a touchdown from Hull is basically what it comes down to, which I'm not ruling out, but I'm not going to start one guy over another based solely on touchdown. That I think one guy might get a touchdown.
Gotcha. Evan Hull seems boring to me.
He's fine. There's this group of backs that I don't know how the best way to describe them. They just kind of fade all together for me. You're just kind of like, bleh, they're all the same. Whoever gets more touches is probably going to do better.
Yep. And also hold your rookies, people.
Yeah, also we saw Jahmyr Gibbs, definitely a much better player than Evan Hull. Still only had 9 touches.
Yeah. You don't draft him for now.
And this take brought to you by Yerbe.
That's the thing we get after like week 1 and 2, the most questions of, should I drop this rookie who hasn't been great on my bench? And we're always like, why did you, who cares if they're scoring on your bench? Like, that doesn't help you. Just hold them.
Them scoring on your bench is helpful for you because I made this mistake when I was a novice which is bye weeks matter, and not only because bye weeks, but that's when people start getting banged up.
Yeah, exactly. The point is, don't judge a rookie after the first few weeks.
But do judge a book by its cover.
Oh yeah. Okay. Uh, uh, Rashad White is doo doo. Is what I take from that.
Rashad White is doo doo.
It's like,
By the way, Sean Tucker 2% rostered. If you have a roster spot to play with, please go pick up Sean Tucker. He might not pop off this week, but he is a better running back than Rashad White long term. I truly believe this in my heart of hearts.
my metaphor for Rashad White is like, have you ever gotten into a long line and then after a wait, you're like still last, and it kind of makes me irrationally angry. So that like no one else is gonna have to wait behind me, and then if I get to the front of the line and there's still no one behind me, I'm like, wow, I had to wait this whole time, and I'm mad that I'm at the front of the line. And that's Rashad White. He may be at the front with nobody behind him except Sean Tucker, but he still makes me feel real bad. All right,
Uh,
Tony.
let's be clear here. I would just like to stick up for Walker's boy. Chase Edmonds is also behind him.
Oh, okay.
I do not co-sign this take. I'm just sticking up for Walker's boy.
Tony Martin, welcome to the chat. Tony is a huge member of our company, and he's
Tony
a partner now, I
Tony
believe.
aka Shrimp Linguini. That's Tony's new nickname.
Okay. Didn't catch that one, but he wants to know PPR pick one: Elijah Moore versus Cincinnati, Quentin Johnson versus Miami, or Jalen Warren versus San Francisco.
Ooh, I would say, man, that's tough. I don't want to start Elijah Moore this week. I don't want to start Quentin Johnston either. So I guess it comes down to Jalen Warren by default. There were rumblings today that he is going to get more touches. But the thing is that all three of these guys could combine for like 15 opportunities. So I would say Warren just because the Niners are susceptible to pass catching backs, which is what he is. Cincy is a good defense. They're not a difference making defense, but they are good. And I do worry about Elijah Moore's role this early in the season. And then Quentin Johnston, he is the fourth, fifth passing option there this week. With Keenan Allen healthy, Mike Williams healthy, Austin Eckler healthy, Gerald Everett healthy in an amazing matchup this week. So I would probably stay away from QJ and Elijah Moore and kind of fall ass backwards into Jalen Warren.
Yeah. And then Duffmaster Flex finally got a connection and wants to know Van Jefferson worth a start over Juju and Brees Hall.
Yes over Juju, no over Brees Hall. I think Van Jefferson is going to be second on the team in targets today. He's probably looking around 8 targets or so. The Rams are going to be playing from behind. They're going to be playing catch up, so it's going to be a lot of passes to Tyler Higbee and a lot of passes to Van Jefferson. Sorry, I have the YouTube on mute on the screen next to me, and I see Evans on a delay, and it looks like he's making fun of me because it's on mute, so it looks like he's just going.
Sorry. I am
Sorry.
not.
So I would say yes over Juju, no over Hall. I think so. They're talking about how Dalvin Cook's going to get a lot of snaps this week, but Brees Hall is also going to get a lot of snaps. They're the two best running backs there. So I would start Brees Hall over Van Jefferson, but I start Van Jefferson over Juju.
And then is Van Jefferson a. Oh, wait. Cooper Kupp's on IR, so Van Jefferson
Yeah.
might have action going forward.
Van Jefferson's probably going to be a good wide receiver 3 or flex for the next 4 to 6 weeks, however long it's going to take Cooper Kupp to heal.
At some point this season, will Jonathan Taylor find himself in the trunk of Jim Irsay's car?
No, but he might find himself in Jim Irsay's doghouse. There was a report today that thanks for queuing up all the stuff I read. There was a report today that Jonathan Taylor's gonna clear his physical when he's ready to come off of PUP, but then there's still the contract question. So they're running out of reasons to not pay the man. Just pay the man. Sorry, you can't value him as a first round running back. You can't value him as a star running back when you're in contract negotiations with trade negotiations with other teams, but not when you're in contract negotiations. It doesn't work that way. Jim Irsay.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's logical, and so Jim Irsay won't understand it at all.
But Jim Irsay is like the freaking My Pillow guy running a team.
Yes, it is. Upper left PNW wants to know. Hey, I'm in the upper left PNW. Wants to know. Need help? Full PPR. Pick 2. Full PPR. Kenneth Walker, Miles Sanders, Khalil Herbert, Rashad White. Pick two.
Sanders, Khalil Herbert, easy for me. Rashad White, we just went on a jag about how he's not even the best running back on his team, and Ken Walker was banged up. He's dealing with an injury. They're probably going to see what they have in Charbonnet. They're probably going to go up big early behind touchdowns from the receivers, which means probably a lot of Zach Charbonnet in this one.
Fabulous. What else? If you're just joining, because we have a lot of new people here, we have the actives and inactives in the description to this link. All right, 14 Ole Ole says, Dak or Cousins? 1 point for every 20 yards, I assume passing yards. 4.5 points for a passing touchdown. That is unique.
This is like my insane scoring settings league, which rest in peace, that league no longer exists.
As unique as it is arbitrary.
Yes, as unique as it is arbitrary. I would go Cousins. I would go Cousins with that passing yardage bonus is what I'm going to treat it as, because you're getting 100 yards passing is 5 points instead of 4, so that's gonna offset any rushing that Dak Prescott has. Passing touchdowns being worth 4.5 will also kind of offset the odds that Dak Prescott has a rushing touchdown. Also, as I mentioned earlier, I don't trust Brian Schottenheimer with the Dallas Cowboys yet. Kid with who's crashed his parents' car and got rewarded with a Maserati is how it feels with Brian Schottenheimer going to Dallas. So
I feel that way about several coaches. I feel that way about Schottenheimer. I feel that way about Josh McDaniels. I feel that way about Matt Nagy.
Josh McDaniels has Chandler Jones isn't playing because he straight up hates Josh McDaniels, and so this whole contract dispute also is a hey, that coach is ass and I don't like him dispute.
Yeah. Glad I got out of being a Raider fan. Just in time to curse the Ravens into falling apart physically every year.
Hey, can you become a Seahawks fan,
God,
please? You're up in that area, and I'd like
I
them to fall apart,
should
please.
put my
Thank
services
you.
out for hire. I should take some money for this stuff. Uh, I mean, I'm a loose Seahawks fan just because I live in the area and I want their fan base to be happy because they're not the worst fan base, you know?
Yes, they
So,
are.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
They're really not. I've seen a lot of fan bases come through Levi's and Candlestick, and they're really not the worst.
What are some of the worst?
What do you think?
Philly, Dallas,
Philly's okay. Dallas and the Raiders.
Patriots. Oh yeah.
Dallas and the Raiders are okay. Patriots are fine. Patriots actually they're not bad. Travel they travel well. There was a lot of Patriots at the Niners home games that I went to against the Patriots, but Dallas, the story of the guy ripping the $10 bill in half and throwing it at me, that's a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Wait, what's that story?
Oh, my mother. So at Candlestick, there were no cup holders, and the standard operating procedure was if you got multiple drinks, you had one in your hand, you had one all the way back, so that when people were going through the seats, they wouldn't kick it over. This Cowboys fan didn't know that. My mother-in-law accidentally kicked his beer over. He was trying to lose his mind, and I was like, "Hey, man, sorry. You know what? That beer is supposed to go all the way back, but you're short a beer. Here's $10. Let's call it even." And he told me to go get him a beer. I told him I wouldn't be doing that. So he ripped my $10 bill in half and threw it at me. And so then I still had $10 and he didn't have a beer. So I didn't know what he was what his goal was there. And then he flashed a wad of cash at me and said, "I don't need your money." I said, "Okay, cool. Well, you don't have a beer and I still have my $10. So congratulations."
Wow. All right.
There was also in the playoff game last year, there was one guy who literally every time the Cowboys did anything positive, he would stand up and turn around and look at the whole section like Macho Man trying to find somebody to yell at. And it was very annoying just because nobody was interested in dealing with him. So he did that for every play and nobody even responded to him.
Did he keep that up the whole time? Because Dallas lost that pretty handily, as I recall.
He kept it up the whole time. Yeah. And then I think I did it back at him when Zeke got absolutely plastered on the last play of the game.
Wow. Hold on 1 second. I need to parent.
Oh boy, Evan needs to
Oh,
parent.
I know two boys that love.
Oh, Evan's kids are in trouble. Well, Evan's parents, I would just like to, because we have some more people here than were here earlier. Just the Isaiah
I'm ready
Likely
for
thing.
that.
I expected a lot more Isaiah Likely questions. I would say he's an upper blob guy. He's somewhere around. I would prefer Gerald Everett to him. I would prefer him to Dalton Schultz. We were getting questions. We got some questions earlier. Lower blob guys, lower tight end blob guys. Like Dalton Kincaid, I would start Likely over Kincaid. I would start Likely over Komet, Dulcich, Ferguson. The breaking point, I would probably start Likely over Chigakonkwo just because Traylon Burks is healthy. I would start Juwan Johnson, Gerald Everett, Pat Fryermuth, David Njoku, Evan Ingram, Tyler Higbee, Kyle Pitts, George Kittle, Dallas Goedert, T.J. Hawkinson over over Likely. Everybody else, I would start Likely. Also, the Darren Waller situation. So we're not sure if Darren Waller is going to be playing tonight. He is worth waiting for because Ferguson on Dallas is a good pivot. Same game, low rostership. If he's not available, you do have Monday Night Football with I think Tyler Conklin's going to have a decent role this year, as well as if one of Kincaid or Knox isn't rostered in your league, you do have pivots. I think if those pivots are available to you, pick them up now and then wait out this Darren Waller situation because Darren Waller, given all the injuries to tight end, he is in a small group of guys who could be tight end one this week if he plays. Waller, Hawk, Goddard, Kittle are probably the guys that have the best bet to be tight end one this week.
AK,
Outside shot at Pitts and Hate Crime Higby.
AK Magic says they've been to two Niner games at Levi's and Jimmy G got hurt in both.
Thanks, man. So you were at the Miami game last year and trying to think of the other game that Jimmy G got hurt at. I don't know the other game where Jimmy G got hurt in Levi's. Because the one where Trey Lance came in was in Seattle. Oh well, but yeah, Miami.
And then Tony speculates that Steelers fans are the worst.
They're pretty bad. They're not. They're very much. They're bad in a way that doesn't bother me so much. It's kind of they're bad in the same way that Niners fans are bad, in so much as they're like, we are a storied franchise. You need to respect us. You need to bow down to us. Not like, and because of that, I will physically fight you.
Uh,
Yeah,
it,
it's more players in the guys in the stands that bother me who are trying to physically fight you, and that's all Dallas Cowboys fans.
AK Magic says it was the Seahawks game in 2021 where Jimmy G got hurt.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah, it was the Seahawks. I thought that was in Seattle. Oh well, I don't know.
I liked
Everything.
this. Oh, sorry.
I was just saying everything blends together after a while.
I liked this. The Saints fans when we went to that game in New
The
Orleans.
Saints fans were fun.
They were like
Uh,
intense but also respectful. It was cool.
yeah.
I,
Unfortunately, Evan lost high fiving privileges. Evan high fived a Saints fan. So we were at the George Kittle game, and in New Orleans, and Evan high fived a Saints fan, and then tried to high five me, and I told him absolutely not. He lost high five privileges.
That was fun because every time you threw your hand in the air, I would like subtly try to like get my hand on there, and it was fun physical comedy for everybody. I remember during halftime, a Saints fan and a Niners fan started screaming at each other about how much better their team was, and then one of them stops and goes, "But seriously, man, this is a great game." The other one, "This too," and they hugged it out, and I'm like, "This is cool." Like,
That Saints game was fun. It should be on every fan's bucket list to go to a game at that dome. That dome was incredible.
yeah,
It
that's
was a
the
lot of
only
fun.
NFL game I've been to, and I've been told by Jeff and Wally, you don't need to go to another. Like
No,
that was it.
that's the perfect game to go to. Niners came back, late game heroics, one of the like a highlight of highlight plays. Like if George Kittle goes into Canton, that play is going to be on his highlight reel and game winning field goal to end it. And also Waleed learned about to go cups in New Orleans for alcohol. And
Oh,
I thought he was gonna shit his pants. He was so excited.
my wife went to college in New Orleans, and she was like, "You can just have one in your car. Like they don't
Yeah, you
care."
can have travelers, as my old roommates called them.
Yeah. Why did you just show off your drink again?
I took a drink.
Did you hold it up?
Yerbay. Yerbay. I have a crap ton in my garage.
How come? Did you sign a
Because
contract?
my wife used to drink them and then she stopped because, people, your tastes change. But they were on Amazon auto ship. and there was like a 3 or 4 month delay
Oh
behind
yeah.
Amazon auto ship and my wife not drinking them anymore. So I would say probably 60 of those in my garage.
Same, but with bubbly flavoring canisters.
Oh yeah.
I got into bubbly and I ordered the flavors on auto ship, and then I decided that the flavor I like most is unflavored. So it took a month or two before I realized I still had it on. So now we have about 20 of those.
Yeah. Oh my God, I just got a million updates. Let's see. Inactives. Oh,
Oh, me
these are all
too.
just the inactive reports. Thanks, my playbook. Thanks for being behind the starter sit show with Krisko. Just double checking, just double checking. Got any more questions in the chat? They don't have to be starter sit questions. Update on my wife. She just texted me. She is watching 101 Dalmatians. She has been on a Disney movie kick.
So is
So
she
she's
watching the
watching.
animated one or the live action one?
Uh, she she and I are of the equal mindset that the live action ones are all abominations and should be wiped from this earth.
Okay.
Every last one of them.
Same, but all Disney movies.
The only good kids movies are the ones that were movies when I was a kid. Every other kids movie is bad.
Oh, there's some good kids movies now. There's one that's just monsters in a pro wrestling league called Rumble, and it's just monsters pro wrestling for like 2 hours. It rules.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I like my monsters to have office politics, and that's why I like Monsters Inc.
Did you ever watch Monsters University?
Yeah, it wasn't as good.
No, didn't have the office politics. Tony wants to know who is the first coach to get fired this year.
Josh McDaniels. Even though my answer in the official doc was Todd Bowles, it's because I needed something different. It's Josh McDaniels.
I should check that doc. Find out what everybody thought.
Everybody thought Josh McDaniels or Todd Bowles.
AK Magic is breaking that Rashad Penny is a healthy scratch for week 1.
Wait, what?
And I'm Googling.
Hold on. Please hold. Please hold.
Please
Please
hold
hold.
while we click buttons here.
Yes, this is good radio. Evan beatbox while I look this up. There we go. Evan can only do the hi-hat.
2023. All right, so
per Underdog NFL, Rashad Penny expected to be a healthy scratch week 1. So definitely don't start Rashad Penny.
why? What? Healthy scratch always has a story to it.
Healthy scratch, yeah. It does always have a story to it. A lot of times it is just break glass in case of emergency. So I would say wheels up on DeAndre Swift, wheels up on Kenny Gainwell. Hold on, I gotta put
Rashad Penny is glass to be broken. That is true.
folks. So I would say that this moves DeAndre Swift probably into a back end RB2 high end flex. This moves Kenny Gainwell into like a desperation flex type move. It is very interesting for them to do this. They are going up against New England. So they are a good defense. So I do find it interesting that they're not keeping as many running backs active as
And Tony
possible.
points out the real lead is not that he's scratched, but that he's apparently healthy.
That's the thing, yeah.
Is Anthony Mike V? Welcome. Is Anthony Richard going to finish in the top 12 today?
Potentially.
Potentially.
I mean, he should just with the rushing. He's in a group of quarterbacks that are, starts with like Geno Smith, goes through Kirk Cousins, Anthony Richardson, Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr, that sort of group of guys that they all have a chance to be top 12, but the difference between them being like 10 and then being 15 is a touchdown. So sure, yes, he'll be top 12. He'll be quarterback 9.
And then Duffmaster Flex wants to know teams you feel most confident winning today. Well, let me go to our Survivor League, which
I couldn't sign up for.
Why?
I couldn't log in on ESPN. It wouldn't let me.
Why?
I don't know. I'm gonna try to do that again right now.
I'm popping the link in the chat too.
Yeah, Survivor. I had to post my True Detective smoking a cigarette. This on Twitter. This is very interesting. This Rashad Penny inactive. It has me doing like when the dog hears a high pitched whistle.
Yeah.
Doing the back and forth thing. I'm very confused as to why that's what's going on. All right, I'm gonna do the Survivor. I'm gonna sign up for the Survivor live. Join group. Sure. My team name is going to be called JM Krisko's Picks One. All right, let's make my
Already
pick.
9% of people have been eliminated, not from our league, but just in general for picking the Chiefs.
Ooh, that's a rough go. You don't pick the Thursday night football game. Weird things happen.
The highest
Uh,
percentage picked to win, and then if you haven't done it, Survivor is you pick a team every week, and if they win, you stay in. If they lose, you're out, and you can't pick the same team twice. Uh, the overwhelmingly picked one is the Ravens over the Texans. At 28% of people picked the Ravens.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Probably makes the most sense is the Ravens.
Also popular, the Vikings over the Buccaneers at 9%. Commanders at 18% to beat the Cardinals.
I'm going Washington. I don't know when I could use Washington again.
That's true.
That's part of the strategy of eliminators is like it's not just picking the team you think is going to win, it's also picking the team that you think is going to win and you don't know when you'll pick them again. I'm pretty sure I'll feel good about picking Baltimore somewhere down the line, so I'm going to leave Baltimore off and I'm going to go with Washington.
Although it would be a very Arizona Cardinals thing to just win and screw up the tank job.
I don't think that's going to happen with either Josh Dobbs or Clayton Tune.
All right. DJ Duvernay. Wow, you should be getting ready for your game, but thanks for being in here, Dallas Duvernay. Pick one flex, full PPR. Cook, Khalil Herbert, Hopkins, Lattimore on Hopkins. Lattimore on Hopkins all game scares me. So full PPR, Cook, Khalil Herbert, or Hopkins.
Hmm. I would probably. I mean, Lattimore on Hopkins. I'm not too worried about that. I know that Lattimore he's incredible. I will probably say with the full PPR, we go Hopkins in this one. Just barely over Khalil Herbert. I don't think that James Cook. James Cook, I'm worried about the touchdown upside with Damian Harris and old man Latavius Murray there.
I feel like Buffalo's shown us that Cook is not going to be a consistent option.
It's possible. He's a better if he just gets the Devon Singletary role from last year, he'll be a consistent option, even if he doesn't score touchdowns, but he's not a consistently high option. Kind of like a consistent like RB21 to RB25 sort of guy.
What else? And if you are just joining us, as many are, feel free to hop into our free Eliminator League.
How did
I'll,
I miss that Christian Watson isn't playing today? Oh my god, I missed that on the inactives list. I'm so sorry, everybody. No
I've
Christian Watson.
I've had it in the description since before the show started.
Perfect. I
So
just realized that Tony's question about do the Bears end his situation, his generational trauma. Reminded me that there's no Christian Watson. Yes, Tony, they do.
there's our lock. Put them in your eliminator pool. As
Lock him up. Please don't do that.
as 1% of people have.
Yeah, please do not lock up the Chicago Bears. Weird things happen.
Especially in interdivisional games.
Yeah, picking interdivisional games in a pick'em is it's a fool's errand because strange things happen.
Like people are wondering if they shouldn't start the Dallas defense against the Giants today, which I think is a little too far, personally.
I mean, if you drafted the Dallas defense, then yeah, I wouldn't. It's. I don't really play with defenses. This is my strategy for defense every week. Go on if there is a defense that's projected for more points, I pick them up. I would start Dallas this week. You drafted them; they're a top 5 defense.
That's what I was
I
saying.
wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't get cute with it.
Yeah, Daniel Jones isn't going to figure out that secondary. Who else might be out? If you're just joining us, you can see all the actives and inactives in the description to this stream.
And plus, even if Daniel Jones does figure out the secondary, they are a big play defense. Trayvon Diggs is a picks merchant. He's not as good of a defensive back as a lot of people think. He does get burned a lot, but he does get a lot of interceptions. So that'll help on your IDP stats. And then Micah Parsons is an absolute beast.
Who's going to win?
Micah Parsons.
Go for it. Go for it.
Who's going to win?
Who's going to win Defensive Player of the Year?
Nicholas Joseph Bosa.
Really?
No, it'll probably be Parsons.
Sauce Gardner, I'm not seeing get enough love for that too.
It's hard for a DB to win Defensive Player of the Year, though. It's really hard. It's usually edge rusher guys because this might shock you, but people can't watch every single game. So it's usually guys who get a lot of stats, and those are usually sacks. Like for Sauce to get Defensive Player of the Year, he would need to have like almost a record-breaking number of interceptions. So I'm looking here, and it looks like since 2010, there have been two defensive backs to get Defensive Player of the Year. You're looking at Troy Polamalu. So even that's not an interceptions thing. That's a being a all over the field type thing. And then Stephon Gilmore, I forgot one in 2019. But before that, it's Bob Sanders in 07, Ed Reed. So again, not interceptions thing. And then you have to go all the way back to Dick Anderson Kenny Easley in 1984,
Oh,
and Rod Woodson in 1993, and Deion Sanders in 1994. But then after that, it's just this it's Ray Lewis, Derek Brooks, Michael Strahan, Ray Lewis, Warren Sapp, Reggie White, Dana Stubblefield, Bruce Smith, Bryce Pop,
Bryce
and
Pop.
then Bryce Pop, and then Corn Pop. That's Corn Pop's brother,
Oh,
Bryce
okay.
Pop.
Wow.
But I mean, since Polamalu won in 2010, it's been Suggs, Watt, Kuechly, Watt, Mack, Donald, Stephon Gilmore, Donald, Watt, Bosa. Two different Watts.
Bosa won last year?
Yeah, he had
Huh.
like 1 million sacks.
Huh.
He had 10 million sacks.
The pop
That
smear.
might not be accurate. He had 18 and a half sacks.
While we have a lull, I'm going to ask Jeff this, and put your answers in the chat too. Who is going to win the Super Bowl?
Me.
Jeff is. He's going to take the field when the Niners quarterbacks all get injured and they have to get somebody from the crowd.
The Buffalo Bills. No, not the Buffalo Bills. The Cincinnati Bengals.
Cincinnati Bengals. I thought the Eagles were strong, and I thought they only got stronger in the offseason. So they're my pick. Mike Valverde says Chiefs. Tony says Bengals over Eagles.
I don't even know who I said in that doc. Who did I say in the doc?
I should open that doc. It's a good doc.
It's a good doc. Oh, Mike's here. What's up, Mike? Mike in parts unknown, on the run from the Football Absurdity podcast. The Pop Smear. Oh yeah, Pop Smear's friend of the pod. I forgot. TH Fantasy talked about Bryce Pop. I completely forgot about that. Great podcast, by the way. Shout out to Tony, Ryan, and Shane. It's my favorite podcast, other than the Football Absurdity podcast, of course. But yeah, I love TH Fantasy. I get excited to post it every week because it means I get to listen to it.
Captain Red says Jacksonville. That's my dark horse this year. AK says Eagles. In the doc, you said the 49ers in a totally unbiased prediction.
Niners, baby. Niners. What I like about my background is free. All stuff that was given away by the Niners.
That's the way to do it. That is the way to do it. What's going on with the chat?
And I got my Kings bobbleheads. Eagles.
You a Giant?
Mike. Go ahead.
Are you a San Francisco Giants fan?
Yes,
Okay.
of course. Do I have anything Giants within reach? Yes. I have my Hunter Pence autographed baseball.
Ooh.
I forgot. There we go. I can't. The autograph isn't showing because of where my light source is. But yeah, Giants fan. I forgot it was. There was that time where people weren't asking us questions, where it was Jeff shows us junk that's on his desk.
Jeff shows us junk that's on his desk. Yes. I think I'm a Mariners fan now, but just because they started winning, I'll be that guy.
I like Julio. I
I'll be
really
that
like
guy.
the Mariners. I have this theory that the Mariners, the Lions, and the Sacramento Kings are all the same team in 3 different sports. So I was inherently a Lions fan, also because of Walker, and then I'm also inherently a Mariners fan, even though I'm a Giants diehard.
AK says he remembers when he rained on Jeff's Sacramento Kings parade by saying they're just going to lose to Golden State in round 1.
And then they did.
And then they did.
And then they did.
And it hurt.
Hey, it's okay. They made the playoffs. Do you know if the Kings beat the Golden State Warriors in the playoffs, Sacramento would have burned to the ground. It would have been all over.
Because of fans rioting?
Yes,
Or
we're low key a city. We're a city that likes to do low scale riots, not big ones, not Philly, all that. But when things were popping off with uh, the George Floyd stuff back in 2020, I would say we're probably. I would put us in top 10 of things popping off. Um, you know, but there were a lot more. Nobody was shooting tear gas, so the president could do a photo op. Anyways, any more questions as I go to cough again? I don't have COVID, but I feel like I have it.
what are your thoughts on Ty Chandler?
Ty Chandler,
Yeah.
um, he's fine. I think Dwayne McBride's a better running back, but I think Ty Chandler has a special teams role that are like behind Wongwu that McBride can't fill. I also think that um, it's gonna be a lot of Alexander Madison, not a lot of Ty Chandler.
Alexander Madison. All right. Rolando wants to know PPR, Ayuk or Dotson?
Ooh,
That's a good choice. That's a good choice to have to make.
yeah, that's
Can't
that's
go
a good
wrong.
yeah, that's a good situation to be in. I would hmm. I would say Dotson just because they're going up against Arizona, but I would say that that's going to be a tough decision for you to make all year. That's a good situation to be in. To be brutally honest with you, those are both guys that should be wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3s every week.
And it's gonna hurt for the weeks too when Ayuk goes off randomly.
Yeah, it's going to suck where you're going to have to make that tough call every week, and then one guy will go off on your bench inevitably. I sure hope it's not part of me selfishly does hope it's Ayuk week 1. But it could also be Kittle, McCaffrey, Debo. There's a lot of mouths to feed there in San Francisco, and I do think Dotson is going to be take a huge step forward this year.
Terry McLaurin is going to play, but turf toe doesn't just evaporate.
Turf toe sucks. Turf toe
Yeah,
ended Patrick Willis's career, so just keep that in mind.
I expect more and more usage. And someone's going to a party. Off to my first red zone of the year party. Good luck to your games, lads. See you in Discord. Thanks, Deku.
See Captain Crunch. Oh,
So,
that's Deku?
yeah, that's cool that they have red zone parties in England.
That is kind of cool. That actually makes a lot of sense. That rules.
We have red
My
zone.
my red zone party is going to be me sitting in my living room.
I'm going to print out my kids' fantasy football teams because this is the first year they've been
Oh,
interested.
Scotland.
Scotland,
Sorry.
sorry, my bad. They're very different.
Hey. Fuck the queen. Let's go. She dead. What's she going to do about it, huh?
Yeah. The I'm going to print out my kids' rosters and we're going to red zone it up in the living room, and they're going to enjoy getting blasted with stats for the first time in their lives.
See you, Deku. Have a great time.
It's even cooler that they have red zone parties in Scotland.
That does rule. Achane a healthy scratch? Is he healthy? He was banged up all week.
Yeah.
This is a bad week for me if Devon Achane is a healthy scratch. This is a bad week for me if Devon Achane's a healthy scratch. Israel Abanaconda's been relegated to running back 3 or 4, and Dwayne McBride's on practice squad. Bad times for me. Full participant in practice all 3 days. Did not receive an injury designation. Expected to be inactive.
Huh.
Cool.
Very
Awesome.
interesting. I've added him to our description of all the actives and inactives, which you can find in the description to this video. This is already like better than Twitch, I think, because I can have the description. Although I guess I could do that in Twitch too, but it's harder to access.
By the way, does this work? Does this show up?
It should. Let me.
Everybody hears air horn, sad horn.
Yes, it works.
I'm gonna be really obnoxious. I should add sounds.
We found that the rim shot gets particularly good engagement.
I have little clips from the podcast that that I'm gonna play. Let's see. Here we go. Ooh, somebody's vibrating.
The hell?
Here
Stop
we
it.
go. Upload sound. Sound uploaded. Here we go. I don't know why I said this in the podcast, but
E-girl Jeff.
yes, uwu, as they say. I don't know why I said that. I cannot remember it, but uwu. Mostert Ahmed Brooks is the middest RB room I've ever seen. Yeah. Not great, Bob.
And now we have.
Oh
Dead
man, it shows up.
air.
It shows up on my screen when I click the soundboard.
Yeah.
That's not great.
When I'm casting with Waleed, for some reason, opening the soundboard makes him go invisible, which is super fun.
um. So I just want, as we have a lull, I would just like again to tell people go see if Sean Tucker is available. Please do this. There might be nothing of it, but he's 2% rostered, on Yahoo. Well worth having stashed on your bench just in case, because Rashad White he hasn't shown anything that impresses me, and I do think that Sean Tucker's a better running back than Rashad White. So just something to keep in mind for this week. Also, guys, you can stash Van Jefferson potentially. He's still available in some leagues. I was able to pick him up again just in case. I'm not super convinced about Puka Nakua being a thing. I think that's a lot of. We did this a couple years ago with Jacob Harris. Don't forget, with these same Rams. So I'm not super convinced about that.
We did it last year with Robinson for the same Rams.
I forgot Allen Robinson was on the Rams last year.
So did he, apparently. So did the Rams.
Freaking disgusting. He's on the Stillers now. Yeah, we're just chilling right now. How many leagues you in, Evan?
I'm in 6 redraft and 3 dynasty, which is weird.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 on Sleeper,
I kept it
2
low this year.
Yeah, I've got 11 on Sleeper, 2 on Yahoo, 1 on MFL. Shout out to my
Wow.
Devi league with Mike that I get absolutely rinsed in because I don't know Devi.
What is Debbie?
Where you draft college guys while they're still in college.
The hell?
The hell?
Who has Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I don't know, some guy, not me.
Some lucky son of a bitch.
Caleb Williams. I've got forget how to say his name. It's like Iasova. I don't watch college, which is a problem as well. Iasovas was the wide receiver. I don't watch college either a whole lot. You see college yesterday? Stuff happened. Football happened. I was playing MLB The Show.
No, I don't get to watch. I had my big money league yesterday, so it was all that all the time.
Yeah. And then I started Starfield because it's free on NFL Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass, and then I hated how the ship mechanics worked, the spaceship mechanics worked, so I stopped playing it.
Oh, you played
And
Garfield?
that is
Oh, you play same. Yeah,
You hate it?
I played Garfield, and I got to the ship mechanics, and I'm like, and this is why I don't do space. And then
Yeah,
my son
I was
was like,
I don't
I'll
like
try,
this.
and he's like, holy crap, this is awful.
Yeah, I should have learned my lesson that I don't like space fighters. I think I played Star Wars Squadrons for like a half hour, and I was like, no, thank you.
I tried it, even though it's billed as what is it billed as?
Starfield.
Skyrim in space, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I like neither Skyrim nor space, so I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, that's true. I just tried it because I was like, oh, it's free on Game Pass. Let me check it out.
Yeah,
And it took
exactly.
like 3 hours to download, and then I did not like it.
Is
Duffmaster Flex. We got a question, Evan.
Oh yay!
Duffmaster Flex wants to know Juju or Gabe Davis in PPR. I would probably say in PPR, I would go Juju just because Juju's more likely to get a ton of targets. The slot situation, I'm sorry, the wide receiver 2 / slot / tight end situation in Buffalo seems very fluid right now. And I'm very curious as to how that shakes out. Whereas Juju is the best wide receiver in New England. So
Should
I
I
would go
tell
Juju.
Should I tell my mom to move Rashad Bateman in for Odell Beckham Jr.?
What are the league settings?
PPR.
Dealer's choice. Whoever she wants to start. Honestly, I would probably, they're probably both gonna get like 6 targets.
Isn't ODB banged up and old?
I mean, that's been true of ODB for a couple years.
All right, I'll let her. Since that's the decision she made, I'll let her make it.
Yeah, let her go with
Oh,
her gut. Remember the Discord mantra.
yeah, and my mom's a lot smarter than I give her credit for, especially for a rookie fantasy player. Like I was like, okay, we're gonna do an auction. It's for new people, and like the next day I came back and she's like, I was like, so here's some players, and I listed a player, and she's like, no, he's not my list for value over replacement player, and I'm like, you have a list for Vorp? Like, what? I just told you about fantasy yesterday, and she was saying stuff like Travis Kelsey is not worth the capital that she would put it on him. I'm like, what? You just when you like games, man, you're good at them.
Yeah, she's like, it's just another game for her to figure
Yeah,
out.
my 79-year-old mother, everybody.
Shout out, shout out Evan's mom.
Yeah, I hope she does well. And my sons, I don't know why, I should have changed this. My sons are playing each other in their first fantasy football game. Well, it's not their first. It's
Ooh.
not their first. They did a best ball league for charity last year, and my one son led it for 7 weeks before he was overtaken by my other son, who led it the rest of the way. So they know their stuff. But
Whoever wins this week gets dinner tonight
I know,
or tomorrow
right?
night.
Jeez, that's yeah. When you have twins, that you have to. Oh my God.
Yeah. Whoever wins gets loved by dad this week.
Whoever wins, the other one doesn't win and doesn't get a thing that the other one got, which is explosive. So
Oh yeah.
I hope they tie.
I am not a twin, but I'm as close to being a twin as you could be. My sister is 14 months younger than I am, and so the whole like, yeah, she has something, I don't have something. This is now an existential crisis.
Yeah,
This is world ending.
it's
Is something that I lived as a child, so I completely understand.
yeah, yeah. My son goes to diabetes camp, and I still have to plan like special days for the other one, even though I'm like, your special day is living a day without diabetes, man. Like that's
Every day is
special.
special. You
Yeah.
don't have diabetes.
No, no, I
Uh,
need stuff. So yeah.
yeah, and let's be clear here. My grandparents did encourage that by spoiling us. I hope my sister is watching. I doubt she is, but it kids don't normally get presents for their sibling's birthday, but we got money from my. So when it was like my sister's birthday, I'd get a little bit of money, and vice versa.
Wow. Do you have any dog
Yeah,
pictures to show us?
dog pictures.
Yeah.
Dogs are outside.
Ah.
Let me see. Dogs are outside because they are big and chaotic now. The puppy is now big. Let me see if I can pull this up. Let's see. Go to Google Photos. Let's see. Do do do. I forgot I can look up Lila. Oh, here's a picture of all of them on the couch. Let's see if I can screen share. I don't know if that shows up. There's all of them on the couch. Uh, the cat got lit out, so she's here now. She was in the bedroom with my wife. There's my dogs and my cat. But dogs are outside right now. But yeah, they're good. They're good girls. You want up? I don't know if she's picking up on Mike, but my cat is now in here. Do we have football questions? Week 1, there's not a lot of questions because it's sort of like dance with who brung ya. Whoever you drafted is who you're going to be starting.
Yeah.
So here's my cat. Her name is Zoe. If you listen to the podcast, she is always trying to climb up into my lap while I record. But yeah, week 1, not a lot of questions. Honestly, shocked we didn't get a lot more Isaiah Likely questions. He's most likely. Okay, no pun intended. Honestly, he's a top of the blob guy. He vaults into being started over a lot of guys. But again, I'll say it. Slot him behind Gerald Everett. Prefer him over a lot of like your Dalton Kincaids, Jake Ferguson's, that sort of group.
Yes. And probably Lamar Jackson will still do the thing he does, which is force it to his tight end in double coverage when pocket breaks down. Who knows if likely he can get that, but he'll get the chances.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where she will. I was looking at my cat in the video where he will get enough to matter. And really with tight end, that's the name of the game.
Yeah. And it's against Houston, who sucks.
Are we out of questions?
We are out of questions. Hit us with a question and get instant service. Usually it starts to
Prayer,
ramp up the last half hour.
prayers for the needs and such. Yeah, I mean usually, but we have these lulls like week one's usually not a lot of questions. The Sunday of the Thanksgiving games usually isn't a lot of questions. Where it's just kind of like your team is what it is. And at this point, really, you should be picking around the periphery. Like don't get cute at this point because um there was my old image that I made where it was the zone of correctness where it's like, range of outcomes for your guy that's going to be good versus range of outcomes for the sleeper. And it's like you have to be right in there for you to be correct, given the range of outcomes. Lady Sandry, hello. Good luck. I was wondering if you were going to be in here today. I was honestly like, I hope all of our friends from Twitch make it over to YouTube. And so far they have, so I'm very happy about that. Oh man. Yeah, I good luck everybody. We can stay here. I can show more. Let's see what's more junk on my desk.
Yeah, you should,
There's
because
a
at like 9:55, people are going to be desperately
yeah,
rolling in here.
here's a Pepsi can. Um Here is the Storm Before the Storm by Mike Duncan. Good book about Rome.
Letty Sanders says, I pay for Y2 YouTube Premium, so I'd rather use this anyway. Yeah, I made the switch when one day I was like, or I made the pitch to Jeff and Wally to make the switch because one day I was like, oh, the NFL draft just happened. How's that impact fantasy? And I start looking for videos on it, and I realize I'm doing that on YouTube. And I'm like, why am I on Twitch? Like, we need to be on YouTube.
Yeah,
This is where people look for sports stuff.
yeah. YouTube is much better for Twitch. Unfortunately, we were part of that Twitch alpha, and I have to say this: they did their best.
Yeah, they made a big
They
push
did.
to put sports on and did their best.
It's just not what people go to Twitch for. People go to Twitch to watch people do things. People go to YouTube to watch people talk. So it's just that's why we weren't on YouTube before. Like we were trying with that sports alpha program with Twitch, and it's just they did their best. Nothing but good vibes from Twitch. It's just not what people go there for.
And we're
It's
still
just not
doing
their market.
the Thursday night farce
Farce
ball.
ball.
Yeah, on Twitch, but that's because we've seen if they're still they front paged us every week, so we get like 150 viewers. So we're gonna see if they still do that.
Yeah. So yeah, and shout out to the NFL by the way. I would like to say congratulations on putting everything on an app that's not on anything. Because Lady Sandry said Roku doesn't have a Twitch app. Yeah, Xbox doesn't have an NFL app. My LG TV doesn't have an app. I have to use my laptop to watch NFL Plus Premium.
I hate
So
getting NFL Premium or NFL Plus ads on everything. It's my entire screen when I go to NFL.com, and we've had a company NFL Plus Premium account for 7 years. I have the product. You're spamming me with ads. How about spend more time making me so I don't get randomly booted when I'm trying to watch preseason tape?
yeah, it's there. It's very much the if you ever listen to podcasts and they get the interstitial podcast ads, and sometimes it's for their podcast when you're on the network. It's like I'm listening. I'm sold. You don't need to do this.
Algorithm needs updating. Let's see what happens when I go to NFL. Why do I have the NFL Fantasy app? There's something I'm never going to use.
NFL fantasy is for
Is it?
what could be the best. Like they have literally everything they need to be the best. They are by far the worst.
All right, we have a question
Question. Yay. All
for
right.
Final Flex Button PPR. So this is PPR. Pirine, Nico Collins, or Jaden Reed? Who is Jaden Reed?
Jaden Reed is rookie for the Packers.
Okay.
So Nico Collins, sorry, my cat jumped down, so I had to move away from the mic. So Nico Collins is going up against Hold on.
Baltimore.
Baltimore. Okay, so Baltimore without Humphrey, so that's not a bad matchup. I would probably go Collins, Pirine, then Reed. Or actually, Collins, Reed, then Pirine. Just because, it could be a game where, like, Javonte Williams gets a ton of targets. Or they're talking about Jaleel McLaughlin. I feel itchy about that situation in Denver with what's going on there. And we saw with Jerick McKinnon on Thursday Night Football how that pass catching back role can just evaporate. I think Nico Collins is going to be the number one target in Houston. I'm actually starting him in a league this week as my wide receiver 3 because I drafted poorly. So I would probably go with Nico Collins over Jaden Reed, rookie wide receiver. We don't know what that's going to look like, and also over Samaje Perine because we don't know what that's going to look like either.
I'm not a fan of starting rookie pass catchers week 1.
No, I'm not either. I just realized I have a good dog picture for everybody. If I can share, this is Lila on the couch. Dog picture. Dog picture. There she is. Dog picture. Dog picture.
Is it coming through? It's not coming through.
It's not coming through.
No.
I'm sharing my screen.
In the Discord?
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen in the Discord.
Oh, I have to do this. Here,
oh, you have to do it manually?
There it is. Now it's there.
There you go. Dog picture. Dog picture for everybody. So there you go. Here's all my Lila pictures. Here's them in a pool. We got them that they promptly destroyed. You can see right here they're already starting to destroy it. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now. It always makes me very antsy to be sharing my screen, even though there's nothing untoward going on. It's like somebody having a camera, in my bathroom or something. It makes me feel very uncomfortable.
I'm always scared one of my kids is going to randomly walk by and be naked, and then I'm going to get arrested or something.
My kids are always naked. They're 2 dogs and a cat, but still.
My kids are kids, and some they don't do it as much anymore. Sometimes we'll like randomly hear them messing around. We're like, "Come downstairs. What are you doing?" And they'll come down and they'll both be naked. And we're like, "Why are you naked, man?"
Hey, man. It's how kids roll.
Andrew says, I'm sitting Marquise Brown. Sadly, replaced him with Zay Jones.
I wouldn't do that. That feels like a bit much. That feels like going a bit far for week 1. Yes, I know the Cardinals are going to be very bad. They do have to throw the ball, though, somewhat. And I think that, Marquise Brown's the only... I got pushback on this from Walker on the podcast, but as of right now, Rondale Moore hasn't shown it in the NFL. Marquise Brown's the only good wide receiver they have. So if they're going to throw the ball, they have to throw it to Marquise Brown. Zay Jones is 3, arguably 4, arguably 5 in the pecking order if you count the running backs as one player in terms of touches. On the Jags. So I think that might be going a bit far.
Someone just posted in our Discord 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games today have a chance of thunderstorm.
That is something that we didn't talk about. Completely skipped my mind. Everything in the Northeast is going to be a mess. It's going to be a nightmare. Does that 7 include Sunday Night Football? Because that should be affected, but yeah.
Yep.
So.
In fact, that's the one where it's likely. Everywhere else it just says a chance, except for Raiders and Broncos. But that's just Denver.
That's just Denver. So
how does that affect your decision making, if at all?
Not really a lot. Just because it's the sort of thing where, when you are dealing with this sort of thing. Sorry, I just got a notification my battery is running low on my laptop. Uh-oh. My charger not working? Uh-oh. Hold on. We might have problems.
Uh-oh. Well, in the meantime...
There we go. Okay. My charger wasn't plugged in. Woo! Okay. It's one of those things where it works a lot for... Sorry, I got very distracted by my laptop. charger potentially not working anymore. It matters a lot for DFS where you're really working around the margins of stuff. But in terms of like regular games, unless you're playing in a monsoon like the Niners and the Bears did week 1 last year, it's not something that I particularly worry about. It's more of like a tiebreaker. It's not like I'm going to stay away from guys in these games, especially there's 15 games being played today and tomorrow. There's 14 games being played today. Half of those games are going to be affected by weather. So what's your pivot? Oh, I'm going to go from this guy in one bad weather game to a guy in another bad weather game. It's like there's no real pivot there.
Lady Sandry wants to know half PPR: Gabe Davis or Marquise Brown.
If I have to be intellectually honest, I would say Marquise Brown. And I am going to be intellectually honest and say Marquise Brown.
What would the other method be?
Being intellectually dishonest and saying Gabe Davis season.
Are you big on Gabe Davis?
He's fine. I don't know what to think about the passing options in Buffalo behind Stephon Diggs right now. Like sometimes it's just like I want to wait and see. I want to get more information because I was a big Deontay Hardy head, and then they took Dalton Kincaid, and now you have this whole mess for a team that wants to run the football. Like they have Josh Allen, but they want to give Stephon Diggs like 11 targets per game, and then you're going to switch or spread out among James Cook, Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, Gabe Davis, Deontay Hardy, Isaiah McKenzie. Is he still there? Him or Khalil Shakir? They're the same player. You're going to spread all these targets out amongst all these guys, and then it's like, what does that look like? It's kind of like the Giants wide receiver room, but like on like up like 0.25%. Because it's more positions.
So someone asked, but they didn't specify as PPR or not. So I'm going to ask it. I've asked for clarification, but I'm just going to ask. Pick two. Oh, okay. It's PPR. Pick two: Bateman, OBJ, Ingram, or Pirine.
Bateman, OBJ, Ingram, or Pirine. As a rule, I try not to flex tight ends. So I would probably say Pirine. Oh boy, you're really putting my thoughts on the Ravens to the test.
My mom says OBJ over Bateman.
Do it. Go with Evan's mom. OBJ
Go
and
with
Pirine.
my 79-year-old mom.
OBJ over Pirine because I don't like to flex tight ends because what you're looking for out of your flex is a lot higher floor, or is a lot higher than what you're looking for out of your tight end slot, and so I don't particularly like to flex tight ends.
It's looking like Kelsey's going to sit out next week too.
Don't play Noah Gray, please. Please don't do that. Everybody, please just drop Noah Gray. Go get somebody else.
Don't play wide receivers on the Kansas City Chiefs. Pass catchers, that is.
Go get Rashee Rice. I feel like I'm taking. That's another thing I want to talk about. I'm glad we have the time to do this. Look, I know everybody wants Sky Moore to be good. I know everybody wants Kadarius Toney to be good. I know everybody wants Justin Ross and Justin Watson. They want these guys to be good. They all failed. You know who didn't fail was Rashee Rice. He only played 20 snaps. I think something happened that I think he got banged up on that weird sweep play that they had because I don't remember seeing him after that because he had, I think, 12 snaps in the first 3 drives. And on his 20 snaps, he ran 12 routes, which is good. It's not great. It's okay. He ran 12 routes, but he was targeted on 5 of those routes. So he essentially only played a half, and he led the team in targets. He also had the only touchdown. He also had the only... Think of there were 2 good plays made by receivers in that game. There was the Marcus Valdes-Scantling catch, the deep ball, where he got hit as he caught it, and we knew he could do that. And then Rashee Rice had a nice catch and run.
That was a stupid play with that lateral.
I just want to say, all those guys that I mentioned, both Justins, Kadarius Toney, and Sky Moore, they were all of them on the roster when they took Rashee Rice in the second round.
Yes, Pirine and OBJ.
Pirine and OBJ, yes. But there's this Sigmund Bloom of Football Guys who made me fall in love with fantasy football. He has this thing that he said that always stuck with me, which is teams can lie to you all year round. The one time they cannot lie to you is in the NFL draft. They choose the players they want at the positions they want at the spots they want in the NFL draft. And with all those guys on the roster that I named, Tony, MVS, everybody, they went out and they got Rashee Rice in the second round. I love Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice reminds me a lot of Brandon Ayuk. And I think that he is a guy that you can put on your bench and wait to see what happens because it's not like spreading the ball out is in Kansas City's DNA. If they have a good wide receiver, they will use him. We saw it with Tyreek Hill. I'm not saying Rashee Rice is Tyreek Hill. I'm saying that he's a good wide receiver. Go get Rashee Rice. Please. I'm begging people. Don't forget about him when your waivers run this week.
Goddard or
That's
Ingram?
What's that?
Goddard or Ingram?
Goddard. Without hesitation. Goddard. So Ingram is part of the... Is the person asking this somebody we know?
I don't think so. I think they found us.
So quit. We have this idea that we call the blob, right? It's tight end. It's basically every tight end after Dallas Goedert is kind of pretty much samey. And it's not always Dallas Goedert, but it's more or less Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert is above that. So Evan Ingram, he could finish anywhere between tight end 6 and tight end 26 on any given week. Whereas Dallas Goedert could be somewhere between tight end 1 and tight end 12 because he is in one of the difference maker. He's one of the difference maker tight ends. There's only 6 or 7 of them every year, and he is one of them. So I would say unless something happens to Dallas Goedert and he's banged up, or something happens to Jalen Hurts, or unless something happens to the wide receivers in Jacksonville, Goddard over Ingram is probably going to be your weekly decision because he is the better option most weeks. And this week I would include in that.
So I go to NFL Plus. I log in. We have NFL Plus Premium. Click on Red Zone. Click Watch with NFL Plus Premium. And guess what pops up?
An ad for NFL Red Zone?
An ad for NFL Plus Premium. And
wow.
And it's not letting me click buy it. It's just saying you have to pay. And I'm like, we did. Like 7 years ago, dude, we've had this account. Yeah, and I can't figure out how to get around it.
Oh boy. Oh, we do we have NFL Plus Premium?
Yeah.
I don't know. We do. Okay.
We do. I just verified it.
Okay.
we have for years. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So, any other questions? Because if not, I'm gonna go get set up to watch the game.
That's a good call. We'll leave like 30 seconds for any last minute questions, and then we'll kill the broadcast.
We're gonna murder it.
Why will you not let me do this?
Brought to you by Yerbe. Not really. I just have a ton of them in my garage. Should I try to trade Ingram? It's hard to trade a blob tight end. I would probably say you can keep him on your bench and break glass in case of emergency, or he would be a good throw-in. Trying to trade just a blob tight end is going to be really difficult. If he pops off this week, then absolutely I would trade him because Goddard's going to be your guy more often than not. If something happens to Goddard, you can pick up a guy off the waiver wire in most size leagues that's going to be moderately comparable to Ingram. Like Gerald Everett sitting out there on the waiver wire, and I think he and Ingram might be comparable this week in terms of opportunity. So, I would say maybe as a throw-in, Ingram would be a good like you could trade a running back and Ingram and upgrade your running back or wide receiver or whatever, wherever you think you're weak. Ingram is a good throw-in. Target the Kelsey manager, the Mark Andrews manager, whoever picked up and played Noah Gray this week. Go find them. Go find them.
All right, and that concludes the Sitshow with one more last minute. You just got in there. Huber or Higbee? Thank you.
Who is Huber?
Higbee.
I'm not going to start Huber.
I'm going to take a Huber.
I would go with Kittle. I'm going to say Higbee. I'm going to say Higbee for this week only. No Cooper Kupp. George Kittle has been banged up all week. A lot of mouths to feed. Pittsburgh's a much better defense than Seattle. They don't have to throw as much. Seattle was really bad against tight ends last year. I know stuff. We can't take last year's stats into account. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say Hate Crime Higbee over George Kittle this week.
Hate Crime Higbee it is. Let's see if we have any last minute questions.
Ooh, quit. Yeah, not confident. My team picked up Kupp in the second round. That's rough, quit. I'm sorry. I have Cooper Kupp in my Scott Fishbowl team, and I feel your pain. So I think that's it. I wish everybody good luck. It is 9:59. Your roster should be locking any second. So anything I have to say is now useless. Go pick up Sean Tucker.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. Enjoy your